This is the inside of the Swift Escape 664. If I firstly move to the main control panel, I can turn the 12 volt on the power button just here. Once I've done this, you will see the condition of the leisure battery. It's also indicating that we're connected to mains electricity at the moment and that we are using the leisure battery. To turn the water pump on and off, just press here. The water pump needs to be on so we can get water out of the taps, flush the toilet and fill the boiler if it has been drained down. Beside that we have Frost Protect. This will turn the heater on, which is located inside the grey water tank. The freshwater tank does not have frost protection as it is an internal tank. So if you are using the motorhome in extremely cold climate, you've got water going into that grey water tank, just pop that on to stop it freezing and damaging the tank. We then have view levels. This will give us condition of the leisure battery, condition of the vehicle battery, how much water is in the fresh tank and how much water is in the waste tank. And then we have the main isolator for all of the cabin lights. These can then all be individually turned on and off on their own switches. And then lastly, awning light on and off just here. Beside the main control panel, we then have the Truma control panel for the heating and hot water system. As you can see at the moment, it's just displaying the time, and it's also indicating that we're connected to main supply with the picture of the plug just here. If I now press the button, it will illuminate and bring up its basic functions. So if I begin to rotate, you will see the icons begin to flash. So if we start with the first one just here, the picture of the motorhome, this is for the heating. So if I now press the button, you'll see that heating is off. And all I now need to do is just rotate to pick whatever temperature I would like it to be inside the motorhome, and it will go right the way up to 30 degrees. So once you've decided on a temperature, just press again to store it in, and you'll now see a flame has appeared above. That little flame there just represents the heating system, and it's just letting you know that you've set a parameter. Whenever the heating is in operation, the flame will begin to flash, and it will continue to flash until it's achieved the temperature you have asked. If I now press again, and we now move across to the next icon, this one here is for hot water. So again, if I now press, hot water is off, and if I rotate, we can heat hot water to about 40 degrees. If I rotate again, roughly about 60 degrees, and we can also perform a boost on the boiler. The boost was mainly designed for if there's going to be more than one of you having showers in quick succession of each other, or if you just want hot water very quickly. If you do perform the boost and the heating's running, it will turn the heating off as it needs to use the extra power to perform that boost. And again, the icon will continue to flash until it's achieved the temperature you have asked. The next icon is power source selection. So at the moment, to do both heating and hot water, I'm using mains electricity at 2 kilowatts, indicated by the 2 lightning strikes just there. If I rotate the button, I can lower the power consumption to 1 kilowatt, which is very handy if you're on a low amp site to try and avoid tripping. If you have both power sources available to you, you can run in dual fuel. So you can run on a mixture of gas and mains at 2 kilowatts, or a mixture of gas and mains at 1. These two settings are very handy, especially in the winter months of the year. This will help you get up to temperature nice and quickly, and then it will cut the gas off when it's not required. And then lastly, if we have no main supply connected, we can just run on the gas. Next, we have the circulation fan for the heating system. So at the moment it's in eco mode. It can be put up to high or boost. If you turn both the heating and the hot water off and then you return back to the fan, you can also use it to vent the motorhome on a warm day as well. This has a fan speed of 1 to 10. At the bottom here we have a basic timer, so we can select when we would like the system to start and then what time we would like the system to turn itself back off again. And then once we've done that, we can literally then pick what we would like on within that time period. So let's say we don't want no heating at all. We want hot water on at 60 degrees. We just want to be using electricity at 2 kilowatts. And then lastly, timer on or off. If I now activate the timer icon will come up there, and whenever the timer is active, it will flash like it is at the moment. If I now go back to it, I can now turn it back off again, and then it will then go back to whatever settings it was on previously. After that, we then have clock set. And then lastly, we have the settings menu. So within this, we have index, which is just for the technicians, just lets them know what software this control panel is running. We have brightness of the screen, language, full factory reset, offset, which is just for the onboard thermostat, which is just located here. If you don't think it's quite correct, you can just slightly alter it. And then this button just here just gets you back out of anything. From time to time, this control panel may throw up error codes. It's usually something relatively basic. So at the moment, I'm running on both gas and main supply. If I lose either of those power sources, it's going to throw up an error code to let me know. An error code will appear as a warning triangle just here, and you'll get a series of numbers and letters across the screen. If you then look within the manual or you Google it, it will then tell you what the problem is. Like I said, if it's usually something basic and you sort it out, as soon as you have done so, the error code will usually disappear. If that's not the case, just go back to the warning triangle and double click on it on the button, and it will then usually say no error and disappear. If that still doesn't work, if you still have anything running like I do at the moment at the top here, just turn it all off, because it can reassess a lot faster when it's not trying to do lots of things at once. If that still doesn't work, I always suggest the good old-fashioned turn it off, turn it back on again. And the way we turn this control panel off is just by holding this button down until it says off. If when you turn it back on, you still have an error code, you can always then just do the factory reset. It will not hurt it in any shape or form. Sometimes that is all that is required. If I now come to the bench seat just here and remove the cushions, and I now just lift up, you will see that we have storage beneath, and we can also see the back of the leisure battery box just here. Tucked down here is just the main 12 amp fuse just off the battery itself. And if I now move across to the other side where the travel seats are located, and again just remove the cushions, and again now just lift up. Again we have a small amount of storage underneath here, but mainly we have the location of the consumer unit. So we have the mains trip switches just here. So we've got the 3 individual MCBs and then the main RCD and test button just here. They are all labelled up and correspond on the sticker just here. So if anything is not working on main supply, just check to see if you've tripped at this location here. We then have the 12 volt fuses just here, and again they're all numbered up and correspond on this part of the sticker. So if anything is not working on 12 volt, just check to see if you've blown a fuse. Isolator buttons just here for components that use mains electricity. So we have the amber one just here for the Truma heating and hot water system. So if this is turned off here, you will get an error code on the control panel if you're trying to run anything on main supply. If I now just do this, and I now go back to the control panel, you'll see that we have a warning triangle just here. And if I now go to it, click on it, it will then give us an error code of W45H, which is the error code for I have lost main supply. And if I now return back and turn the isolator back on again, the error code will then automatically put itself back out again. Beside that, we then have the isolator for the battery charger. The battery charger is located just here. Obviously, if that is turned off, you will not be able to charge either the vehicle or the leisure battery from the mains supply. So again, make sure that is on. This will illuminate here if you have reverse polarity connected to the motorhome. This can sometimes be found on some continental sites. Just here we have a few buttons. Most of this can only be accessed by technicians. But if I press the select button, it will give you a condition of the leisure battery and a condition of the vehicle battery and the battery amps being used. Full system shutdown just here. So if you're not using the motorhome for long periods of time, you can press this button and it will shut the back end of the motorhome down and kill any residual draw on the leisure battery. Electric step switch just here. The step will automatically put itself away when the engine is started as well, but always check that it has actually done so. Carbon monoxide alarm and smoke alarm just here, both battery operated, so just press the buttons from time to time to make sure that they are working. We then have a fire blanket and tuck down the bottom just here a fire extinguisher. Dometic fridge just here. To turn the unit on, just press here, and then we have a standard freeway fridge. So if you're hooked up to main supply, you can run it on mains with a little picture of the 2-pin plug just here. If you have no main supply, you can run the fridge on gas, and it's just a matter of making sure the gas bottle's turned on and then pressing the little picture of the flame. These particular fridges automatically ignite themselves, so you do not need to do anything else. If it fails to light, this triangle here will begin to flash red and you will get a beeping sound to indicate that it has failed. You can make the fridge attempt to light itself again just by pressing the button just here. Lastly, we have 12 volt maintain, which is what we have the fridge on to keep it cold whilst on the move. This will only work whilst the engine is running, so if I press it at the moment, we will get the red warning triangle and the beeping sound to indicate that something is wrong. You would also get that sound and flashing if you were not connected to main supply as well and you were trying to run it on mains. Temperature control just here, and the more blue bars, the colder it is. Removable freezer box at the top just here. There are just a clip here and a clip over on this side here, and it just slides out. And to keep the fridge vented when not in use, just push slightly in and then slide this section out just here, and it will then allow the door to hold on a jar. Microwave just here, and this will only work when the motorhome's connected to mains electricity. Always advisable to remove any contents for travel. The microwave is just plugged in the overhead locker just here, and then it behaves virtually the same as most microwaves. We have quick start just here when we have stop and cancel. We've got the auto menu just here, defrost, etc. as well. Beneath that is the hob. So we've got 3 gas rings just here, and it's just a matter again of just making sure the gas is turned on, pushing in, twisting round, and then pushing the igniter. Beneath that we have the oven and the grill. So for the oven, just push in to the left and again hit the igniter. And then if I push in and then go to the right, we can then fire up the grill. Storage right at the very bottom just here, but you will find some gas isolation taps just tucked up here. They are colour coded and then match on the sticker. They can all be left in the on position. I always say if you do smell gas in the motorhome, go to the source and turn off the gas bottle. Again, more storage, and then we have the sink cover and the draining board just here. Sink, wardrobe. Within the wardrobe we have the television aerial. So we've got the digital amplifier for the TV aerial just here, on and off. Control the boost just here. Do make sure that this is on before trying to tune a TV in, or otherwise it will not find anything. And then we have the TV aerial itself just here. To use this, undo the collar and then push the mast up and then twist it around to get it into the position that you require. This green window here represents the back of the aerial, so you know roughly which way it's pointing. And then relock it into position. Try to avoid over tightening the collars because you do run the risk of splitting them. At the moment now, the aerial is sitting in a horizontal position like so. We can make it go into a vertical position for additional tuning if required, and it's just a matter of turning the tail just here. Always make sure that the aerial is back into the horizontal position and then back down again for travel. Washroom just here. So we have the basin, and then we also have the shower just here. And then at the back, the Thetford cassette toilet. The toilet swivels, and then to open to the cassette, just slide the grey lever across and then push to flush just here. level indicator just here, so this will illuminate to let you know when the cassette needs emptying. And then close back up again on the grey lever. If this has been left open and you try to remove the cassette from the outside, it will not come out. So if you do feel resistance, just make sure that nobody has left it open. The light switch for in here is just tucked here. Fixed rear bed in the corner, and if I now lift up, you'll see underneath here that we have the freshwater tank just here, and then we also have the boiler itself. So with the boiler, you will need to know how to drain it down for winterization. To do this, firstly make sure that the boiler is all turned off and the water pump is also off. And then all you need to do is come to the yellow lever just here and flap it up. Once you've done this, the water will then begin to drain out of the boiler underneath the motorhome at this point here. If you're fully winterizing, I always suggest that you then also go around the motorhome and open all the taps like so, because this will help release any airlocks in the system and make it drain down much more efficiently. When it comes to refilling the boiler, make sure the taps are down, reclose the drain valve, fill up the fresh water tank, turn the water pump back on again, and then the water pump will begin to refill the boiler. Let it run for a few minutes and then begin opening the taps. They'll cough and splutter as they force the air out. Once the water is running freely on both hot and cold, reclose, and then the system will fully reprime itself. To drain the fresh water tank down, you just need to come to the cap just here and undo it, and then literally there's a chain just here. Run your hand down to the chain at the bottom, pull the bung out, and it will then drain all the water off. The water pump is just located in the corner just here, and the dinette table can be stowed on here. Just make sure that once you have stowed it on here, that you also use the pop studs and clip it on, so you then have it fully secured and it will not move in transit. If I now move back to the front of the motorhome, as you can see, the seats rotate round, and they rotate round on the side levers just here. They're both height adjustable as well on the levers just here. The front can also be made into another bed. To do this, you will need the dinette table, and it just needs to be clipped onto this lower rail just here, and then instead of using the large leg, we just use the shorter leg just there. As you can now see, I've dropped the table into position, and then what we will need are the grey infills. And we will also need this cushion just here. If I now remove it, you will see that we've got this cutout here that allows it to go around the seat belts. So if I now take the infill cushion just here and pop it into place, and then pop it into position, and again I then take the other grey infill and again just pop this one into position like so. Once I've done that, we can then lift up on this section here and slide it out, and then it's just a matter of dropping these cushions into position, and then you'll see we just have a small gap at the back just there, and that is what this skinny infill is for just here. TV bracket just here, and then we have TV plug-in points just here. So we've got a 12-volt socket if you're running a 12-volt TV, a main socket, and then the aerial fly lead in just here. With the window blinds, we've got a pull across blind at the front just here. Just nip in, pull across, and then do the same on the other side, and then they attach on a magnet in the middle. And then we have the thermal studded screens that go on the side windows.